The following was recorded in front of a live studio audience at the Studio 21 Podcast Cafe. This is the United Podcast Network.
If you're building or buying or selling a home, the Real Estate Crew's got news for you at the Real Estate House Party.
With attorney Rick Carter,
Real Estate House Party.
paralegal Kathy Holtshouser,
Real Estate House Party. Come in, have fun.
and comedian Tony V. Now, here's real estate attorney Rick Carter.
Welcome and thanks for joining us. And we also have Joe Yannetty with us.
Thank you, counselor.
I was in your neck of the woods the other day, East Boston. I wanted to go to, what's the big pizza place there?
Santarpios.
Santarpios. Is it as good as they say?
There's nothing better.
Nothing better
Really?
than Santarpios.
Yeah,
is.
right.
and unless it's the Pizzeria Regina.
Right.
Right.
You want to hear funny? We can swear, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, not a
A
lot.
buddy of mine wanted to
Not a lot. Not in the first minute.
Don't say the F word, all right? If you don't mind.
like one
You can swear, but just don't say the M word.
best of Boston. It's always either Santarpios or Pizzeria
Pizzeria
Regina.
Regina, yeah.
So one year I go in and I think it was Lefty, the bartender. I go in and I go. They had won. I go, hey Lefty, congratulations, you won best of Boston again. He goes, you know my fucking people gonna come in here now. I'm like, what?
I told you not to say the F word.
What part that you didn't understand?
Oh, I'm sorry.
He didn't say it. Lefty said it.
Ronell from our office loves Santarpios.
She should be from.
Oh, it's
I
great.
I thought you meant
Right.
because she says the F word all the
No,
time.
that
no.
too.
Well, everyone.
Well, she learned that from Lefty.
Everyone says that the pizza at Santarpios is as close as you'll ever get to the way it is in Italy.
In Italy, it is.
It is
Do you
different.
remember
Yeah.
the European in the North End? Do you
I
remember
love-
that?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, they
Eddie-
had.
Yeah.
Eddie
The place
April.
with all the microphones.
Yeah.
What is
Yeah.
that? Oh, for the.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I got
Yeah.
it.
Yeah, the social club was right around the corner on Prince Street.
I didn't know that as a
Oh, yeah.
17-year-old.
You could get at the European, it was back in the day, it was one of the few places open until like 4 o'clock in the morning.
Perfect, yeah.
And you could get they had an extra large pizza.
You know what
which
their
was
extra
this-
large pizza is? A pan.
Yeah. It's a
Well,
pan,
they
like
took
a-
up the whole table.
Yeah, yeah.
The
It was
whole
like
table.
it was like a coffee table.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
If it had legs, you could eat off of it itself. Yeah.
But when
Could eat your own table.
When I went to Italy, me and my friend were sitting
You didn't
there.
go to
and-
Italy, did
I
you?
did
When did you
actually
do
last
that?
year. We were sitting there at a famous pizza place in Naples, and we're like, "Well, what kind of pizza do you want to split?" Right? And then we started looking around. It's like these guys don't split.
You don't
pizzas.
split pizzas.
You order your own pizza. You can't. We can't read what we're ordering. We
of course
just order
not.
something, and they throw this big, huge pizza, and there's no slices.
No,
you gotta literally take. I'm watching everybody around me. Just take the fork and the knife and just start obliterating the pizza by
Is
yourself.
that an American thing? Where we
What?
split meals
Slice the pizza up.
and split it up?
Yeah.
I never ate pizza
Well, because
anywhere else
if
except
you've been
Mexico.
if you've been in Europe at all,
There's no pizza in Mexico.
if you've been in Europe at all, they give you portions that a human can eat.
Right.
Right.
Here,
right.
they give you
like the Olive Garden.
Yeah,
it's like
yeah.
falling off
You
the
get-
plate.
Oh, yeah.
You know, you shouldn't have bottomless anything.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
Bottomless
Ever
breadstick.
get, ever get a meal at Kitty's?
Yeah,
You just get a meal for five of
five.
you.
Yeah,
You can't go to
Right.
Kitty's anymore,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
No.
You know what used to kill me? Is
Good point.
the Hilltop. It's a steakhouse. What did everybody brag about at the Hilltop?
The lobster rolls.
They gave you a giant salad.
Oh.
Right. Yeah.
Oh, yeah,
Like
yeah.
a family
You get 3
salad.
cents worth of lettuce. like that's, no one ever said anything about the steak.
But that's America. Free anything.
No, yeah.
And people just go gaga. Like
Right,
it's
yeah.
like people go crazy for T-shirts at a ball game.
Everyone did go to Hilltop, though, for some reason. I don't know. It's
Oh,
just-
and waited 2 hours.
wait 2 hours and the steak was okay.
because there weren't that many steakhouses.
I know.
around.
Is that what it is? Yeah.
Well, name another steakhouse.
No, I know.
I used to do a bit about
Frank's Steakhouse.
Frank's. Yeah.
No,
Nice place.
when the Hilltop was
When
in
the-
its
yeah.
heyday.
Well, no, Frank's was around,
Frank's been
right?
around.
Yeah.
Oh,
I used to
love
do a
Frank's.
bit about that, because you'd eat in cities. It'd be like
Yeah, Sioux City.
3 for Sioux City, 6. I go, wouldn't work with places around Boston. 4 for Dorchester. No, I don't want to eat Dorchester. No.
Now it would work. It would work now. right?
Now.
Yeah.
But back then, 10 for Mattapan. Stop it.
You're killing me. I was thinking the other day, I was in Boston, and you have a joke about it, but it's true. A quarter For 4 minutes.
4 minutes.
I said, "Oh my
don't
God,
lie.
I'm gonna have to get more quarters." By the time I went back to my car to get more quarters, that first 4 minutes was gone.
up. There's nothing you can do that takes 4 minutes.
I said, "This is a vicious cycle."
There's nothing you can do that takes 8 minutes.
8 minutes.
Either,
I
right? So
know.
you just- Yeah.
4 minutes.
But for the people who are listening around Boston, I got, and this is huge for me. They have a
that
Boston parking app.
Yes.
Oh,
You
yeah.
you can just park
use that?
and then punch
No,
in
I've heard
numbers
of it.
and you're taken care of.
Right.
And you can do it from your phone anywhere.
Right,
yeah.
so you can add money to the meter
yeah.
or whatever.
Say you're longer
but
than
does
you
it
think.
does it find you a parking spot too?
That I don't know. I'm
Did
not
it?
that
Well,
advanced.
You don't have to go back there to add to it either.
Well,
Right, you don't have to go back to the meter. You just add right on
Yeah,
the
yeah.
phone.
Oh,
it's
that's
I
great.
always know where my wife parks because it's my credit card. That
Kind of like the Uber, right?
Oh,
You know where she's going.
No, yeah. Here's the other thing with Santarpios.
Yeah.
My buddy Lenny, Big Lenny.
Okay.
He's a Santarpio. He's part of the family. He's making pizza one night, and I go in to get a pizza to go. And that's the other thing. If they was busy, they would just take the phone off the hook.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
They can't be bothered.
And I go, Lenny, what's the secret to the sauce? He goes, see the can? I'll open the can. No one believes me.
Gus, my son Gus and I were.
I think I see him
Yeah.
in the studio
He
audience.
is in
Somewhere.
the studio audience.
Gus,
He's
give
not
us a
paying
wave.
attention, though.
There
He's
he is.
reading his book.
He's way in the
Way in the
back.
second row.
Gus is our worst fan. Every time he visits us,
Yeah.
he brings a book to read.
Yeah.
No,
'Cause
and
he's
then
not-
he also has the face, the serious face.
Yeah.
You're telling joke after joke, and the first time I met him, I'm like, you don't think your father's funny?
Listen, the kid lives downstairs from me. He's sick of me. I get it. If I had to hang around with my father this much when I was his age, I would have put a bullet in my head.
Look at the look on his face.
Yeah.
I said to him at one of the radio shows when we do it, and Gus came in and was reading the book in the corner. I said, "Your father's a legend. It's probably being like the son of sitting around with Eric Clapton."
Yeah.
He goes, "No, it's not."
It's
not. Not even close.
We did the Hampton Beach Comedy Festival.
I heard it was very good.
It was very great.
Yeah.
Nice weather. Was it outside or was it at the club casino?
It was at the Ashworth Hotel.
Oh, I love that place.
But we would gone kayaking with Jimmy Dunn. He's got kayaks for everybody. We had a
Don't
cookout.
point to him. He's reading now.
No, he knows the story.
All right, go
so we're
ahead.
out kayaking. It was Jimmy.
Well, he was there.
Jimmy Dunn, Gus and I are in kayaks. Karen Morgan had a stand-up paddleboard. So we're all frolicking in the ocean. And I got sideways on a wave and it dumped me. And then watching me get back into the kayak was a show in itself.
Right.
And then he starts laughing. He goes, "What's the matter, Boston comedy legend? Can't get back in his kayak?" And then a wave came and pushed him out.
That's really it's not easy to get back into a
No,
kayak.
it's not.
You might as well just
I got in
kick
once.
it in.
I got in once, but I was on my belly facing the wrong way. And that
And you
wasn't
can't
going to
turn
work.
around
No,
in
that
the
wasn't going to work out at
If
all.
I'm wrong, kayaks aren't probably great for Hampton Beach, are they?
Well, if
Oh,
it's
there's no
low
waves.
tide and
Right,
it's
right.
not real windy,
You just
right?
can't get side. And these were the ones
if
you sit on
can't-
top of.
Right, you can't go
Okay.
sideways and have the wave coming
Yeah,
at you because
'cause
then
it'll
you
tip
just
you.
tumble
Yeah.
over.
Well, because
Sure.
it's not an ocean-going
Sure.
kayak.
It's Poseidon Adventure.
Right. Well, the ocean kayaks are different than the lake kayaks. You know,
Yeah,
the
they're
ocean
made for
ones
the
are,
ocean.
are long and they have
Shelley
a very
Winters?
pointy
Yeah.
bottom,
Yeah.
which can
Bow.
keep you.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, it goes from the bow
Well,
to the
yeah.
bottom.
Yeah, but the
Kathy
bottom's not
kayaks
pointy.
on the lake.
Right. And the other thing is,
Yeah, I do.
In a blue kayak.
I have a blue kayak. Yeah.
You thought your husband was buying you a blue Cadillac.
Oh, my friends all heard that he bought me a blue Cadillac
you should
for Christmas.
stay with that story.
Yeah. I was wishing that was
You
true,
got
but
the-
I got a blue friggin' kayak.
You got the Cadillac of kayaks.
But I want to
Probably
let you
a good
guys
one.
know is that I am getting my bathroom thanks to Tony West. You weren't here last week.
No.
We appealed to one Stu Holtshouser.
No, we didn't appeal. We embarrassed him
yeah,
on the podcast.
On the podcast to redo my bathroom.
What else is this podcast for?
I know.
Than to embarrass
people,
your
loved ones.
spouses. Yes,
Right.
of course.
I said, "Did you hear the podcast?" He goes, "Yeah, I could hear you whining on the podcast."
Hey, you know what? You're talking about Boston comedy legend. That I went to a wedding. My wife's family had a wedding this weekend.
Yeah.
Bill Burr, the
Yeah.
more famous he gets, the worse I get. Because now he's so famous
Right.
that people no longer believe that I know him.
Right.
Yeah.
Like,
So what do? Just
I love
pull
Bill
out,
Burr. I go, yeah, he's a friend of mine.
Pull out your best jokes in front of you.
They look at you like,
relatives?
fuck
Yeah, you don't
just-
know.
you don't know
Bill Burr.
And then they start naming names. You must get the same thing.
Yeah.
They start naming names, and you get to the point where you go, I'm not even going to say anything anymore.
Yeah, no.
It's like, this guy? Yeah. I remember when he started. I had already been doing stand-up for 10 years.
Right.
Bill Burr was in The Heat, right?
The Heat.
He was in The Heat.
My favorite.
Your
movie.
brother.
As was I.
You were?
The Heat.
Yeah.
Oh, The Heat.
You were.
I'm thinking
The
of
Heat.
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 Oh,
No,
I'm like, he
no,
wasn't in that movie.
No, The Heat.
The Heat.
You know what he was? He just in. Have you seen?
I like when
Julie?
Joey asked in the beginning of the show, are we doing real estate today?
I didn't start this.
No, that's what he wants to do. We're going to
well,
avoid it because we don't know what he's going to come up with.
The Julian Edelman has a production company
Yes,
now,
he does,
and
yep.
he's got a documentary.
Yes, yeah.
And Bill Burr is like one of the
narrator.
top people.
Bill Burr's in that?
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
All right.
I've never seen Bill Burr more humbled and more like a child than when he met Jay Bruin.
Miller?
Jay Miller down the
Okay.
Cape.
Really?
Yeah, I opened for him down the Cape.
That's who he idolizes.
Yeah, that's who he was like
Jay
crazy.
Miller.
We sat for hours afterwards talking to
Stan
Jay.
Jonathan
and he
wasn't available?
No, and he knew everybody. He knew every fight he was in. It was nuts.
By the way, I would love to meet Stan Jonathan.
Yeah.
You know who was a real thrill to talk to? I sat and talked to him after one of the golf tournaments we did.
Yeah.
Was Brad Park.
Oh, I've met Brad Park.
I was like, dude, how were you taking those shots from the blue line and put them in the corner?
Wheaties.
He goes, you know what I was doing? I wasn't aiming to put the puck in the corner. I was aiming to miss the goaltender.
Who's the most famous person or most enjoyable person you've ever bumped into? Not like a buddy of yours. I know you guys know a lot of guys, but who have you bumped into before?
Is
Like
this a softball for him?
Like I bumped into Ted Williams, and it was
Jesus.
Yeah, it
You
was
mean
awesome.
sports-wise?
Was he
Anyone.
alive?
No, it was just his head.
Just his head.
What?
All right, no, that's all right. I
Val
didn't mean to
Kilmer.
stump anyone.
I bumped into Val Kilmer on the because he's. I was going to wear it today, but it was dirty. I have a shirt of Val Kilmer as
Doesn't say-
Doc Holliday. It says "Say When."
Oh yeah.
And
You wore it last time.
That's one of
you
my.
had it on.
Did I have it on last
Yeah,
time?
yeah.
Yep.
He was one of my favorite characters.
Tombstone's is one of our favorite movies.
Yeah.
I once handed pizza to David Bowie.
Really?
Really?
Yeah,
Yep.
and sat at a table with Mick Jagger.
Oh, see,
Yeah.
you're holding out on
Yeah.
us.
Yeah.
Yep.
You know what? Do you ever see Scorsese's documentary about the Rolling Stones?
I sure did.
Yeah.
I remember thinking
He's done a couple, hasn't he?
Yeah,
Shine a Light.
they got
And-
Bill
and-
Clinton's backstage with them, and
Oh, really?
and in my head I'm thinking, wow, he got to meet the Rolling Stones.
I was thinking the same thing.
It's like, you would think it would be the other way around.
No.
I once got to improv with Martin Scorsese for 20 minutes.
Oh
No.
man,
Yep, in a hotel room in Boston. Yep.
Really?
Yep.
How's
Never
he?
hired me. Laughed his ass off. We talked
yeah.
for a good long time. Then they moved the production to New York, and I never got a job.
Yeah.
But it was fun.
You know what? This
Oh,
is.
Ed Sullivan.
Johnny Depp.
That's a good
You
one.
know what?
Oh, that's great.
You know what? That you say that? I was working at the Tropicana in Vegas, right? And I come down the elevator, and Johnny Depp is right there. And there's two buildings in that hotel. So I had to walk all the way to the other building where the comedy club was, and I walked with him the whole way. And we have a mutual friend, the guy that played his boss in 21 Jump Street. His
Oh,
name
I
is
love that
black
show.
dude named Stephen Williams.
Yeah.
Tall, skinny, black. He was. I'll tell you a real funny thing about him, though. But he told me all these funny stories about when they used to shoot that. So I start talking to him. And he's like this great guy. And I know this is going to happen. We get to the box office. I say goodbye. He gets in the elevator. And I just look at the young girl in the box office selling tickets. And her mouth is like wide open. She goes, "What are you doing talking to Johnny Depp?" And I go, "He's an old friend of mine." "Oh, you didn't want to meet him, did you?" "I didn't even think that you would want to meet him." And she got so angry.
I've been in an elevator with both Mike Tyson and Bruce Springsteen.
I'd rather be in an elevator
Together?
with Bruce.
Yeah,
Same
not
time?
together. No,
Did you talk to Bruce?
separate instances. Yes, yes.
Do you tell them who you were?
No,
Oh.
this was way before I was, anything, which I'm not anyway.
No,
No,
but
you are.
When did
Yeah.
you meet Bruce? What year do you think it was?
1980. I know exactly
Oh,
when
wow.
it was.
Do you know the date?
It was.
He probably does.
No, it was 1980. It was they were playing the Garden, and on a whim I went over to the Sonesta to hang out because I knew that's where they were staying. And
Because you knew there was a buffet. And
Yeah.
like, hi, my name is Tony V.
and at the time, I weighed about 320.
He's not denying it.
At the time, I weighed about 325 and wore double bandanas and leather, and
Really?
I looked like one of his roadies. And so I saw the entourage go in, and I just fell into step with them. And I'll tell you exactly when it was. It was a week after John Lennon got shot.
Oh.
You know,
Wow.
so I thought like security would have been heightened. So he was with the band, Beaver Brown, the band, the lead singer and the saxophone player.
Yeah.
And I just fell in, and they thought I was part of the entourage because I looked like every other woolly animal that was around them.
John Cafferty. Was
Yeah,
that?
John Cafferty. Yeah. And we got on an elevator, and we started going up. And then nobody said anything, and then people would get off on floors. And then eventually it was me, Springsteen, and one other guy. And we got to the top floor, and they're all looking at me. And we step out, and they still looking at me, and I go, I don't belong here. I just want to tell you I'm a huge fan. And the look on his face was like, oh, my God. He gave me a big hug. I got back in the elevator, and I went down.
Nice.
And I went downstairs.
I'm not going to tell you the whole story because Kathy gets sick of it, and we got to get to real estate.
It's 16
but I'm going to give you the
minutes in. We might as well
conclusion
finish
related
it.
to what you did, Tony.
Yeah.
I was in the 1999 when they had the All-Star game.
You were in the All-Star game?
Almost.
His mother would tell you. Who it was.
Utility player.
It was the 25 All-Stars and me behind the at a private party.
Really?
Pretty
Wow.
much. I'm exaggerating a little bit.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
Sammy Sosa,
Wow.
Ken Griffey. Yeah. I just kind of meandered in. Yeah.
You know what? I got to revive.
Well,
I want to tell
He had like all Red Sox apparel on. He had the official jacket. He had like baseball
I think the movie
socks. and-
Fever Pitch was made about me, but that's a whole other story.
No, he looked like he belonged. It
Right,
wasn't,
right, I
It
looked like
wasn't. It wasn't just this haphazard thing.
Maybe next time we'll talk about the Yankee one where I was on the Yankee field.
All right, let me tell you this.
Go ahead.
Because I just thought of the best one.
I'm out of here, you guys.
And
You
then
guys
we
are
gotta
wasting
talk
my
about
time
real
today.
estate.
What's the matter? You
We
never
gotta
been in
talk
an
about real
elevator with a rock star?
No, I drove Troy Brown
that's right.
in a
That's right.
limousine.
Yeah.
Yep.
Where'd he live?
Norton.
I go, north of what?
Norton.
So Norton is south, right? The two.
Yeah.
And then the
Yeah.
other town, what is it? Mansfield is
West.
whatever it is. And he kept going Norton, and I'm like north.
North of what?
And he kept telling me like the opposite of Norton, you know.
Yeah,
and I'm
yeah.
just like, what? Where exactly do you live? He's like Norton. Like forget it. Like I'll find
Just
it.
get out. We're not even a courier.
Get-
Yeah.
All right, I'll tell this one really
All right.
quickly.
Then we're going to do real estate for another
All right,
45 minutes.
in New York, hanging out with Sam Kinison, his family, Mike Clark, Lane Clark, and Robin Williams.
Oh, now you're just showing off.
No.
Yeah, now he's showing off.
That's not even the part about who I ran into.
Okay.
So, you ever go to Columbus Park? There was a restaurant in New York called Columbus Park.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm not exaggerating.
Yep.
Francis Ford Coppola is sitting in the corner with his people.
Oh, yeah.
And like that caliber. Like Warren Beatty's at the bar. And
Really?
nobody's paying attention to anybody. Like no one gives a shit because it's like, and we're at this big round table
Yeah.
with Kinison's family and Robin Williams. And all of a sudden, everybody stops and looks toward the door.
Yeah.
And it's Jack Nicholson, Harvey Keitel, Angelica Houston, and some other like drop dead, gorgeous, tall
Yeah.
model,
Yeah.
whatever. And I'm like, and Nicholson is have you ever met him in person?
No.
He's the only movie star I've ever met that's scarier in person than he is in movies.
How could that be?
Because he's got these really broad shoulders and his eyebrows come
He
to
doesn't
a
look like he's
point,
all
and
there either, right?
He's just got this
No, he's
presence.
not all
Oh,
there.
this was years and years ago.
Right.
So he walks right over to our table.
Really?
And I'm like, Jack Nicholson's going to sit down with us, man. And he goes over to Robin Williams. He shakes his hand and kind of bows to Robin Williams. And Sam Kinison's mother is hammered and goes, Jack! Oh, Jack! and Nicholson goes, I know. I remind you of your husband. And she goes, oh, no, he's a real person. You're just an actor.
Really?
And Nicholson nods, and they all walk away.
Go away, yeah.
I wanted to leap across the table and strangle this bitch. I was so furious. And then he went in the men's room, and Lenny went down into the men's room and met him and shook his hand. And Nicholson went, well, you got some shit on your hand.
We got a lot of real estate to talk about, but maybe we can
Yes.
wrap up with the Don Rickles Frank Sinatra story at the end. How's that one?
Yeah, that's a
Do you remember that?
I do.
Or do I have to fill
Are
it
you
in?
sure?
No.
Are you sure you don't even remember the camping story?
No, I do remember.
When you weren't here last week, we
I
were doing
wasn't.
your own stories.
Oh,
you
good.
know.
Yeah.
No,
Don Rickles says
yeah.
to
he was trying to impress a young woman.
Right.
A new
Frank,
young woman.
can you come over?
Can you come over? He's going, I don't know if I can or
And
whatever.
Frank Sinatra has his whole entourage around.
And he goes, it would really help me out with this woman if you'd come over and say, hello, just, get your good graces and whatever. And he goes, yeah, okay, I'll come over. So the Rickles and the young woman are eating and stuff, and about 10 minutes into their meal, Sinatra comes over and goes, hey, Don, I just want to say hi. And Rickles looks up and goes, hey, can't you see I'm eating?
Real estate. Joey, give us the update on your. I always ask guests to send over stuff, and you actually do it.
Yeah.
You said, here's the
You
first
actually
question.
you do it?
You actually.
Everyone says.
No, I have no
Yeah,
questions
yeah.
for you. Just come up with something.
Interest rates are dropping.
Interest
Yes.
rates are dropping.
That's what we're trying to refinance right
How's
now.
that going?
It's going good. I learned some tricks.
All right, go ahead. Well, that's what we're here for.
I hate
Are they
owning a house.
legit tricks? Or can we say them on the?
Yeah,
I'm from East Boston.
No,
And you used to be a used car salesman, right?
Right, so-
no, new
What-
cars and
new
used
cars.
cars. Yeah.
Just
Okay.
make sure they're
Yeah.
legit tricks.
Well,
All right.
that's what you originally want to talk about, the psychology.
I like the
of
psychology,
sales.
but right.
Which
But
is-
no. Tell us your tricks for the refi.
I
had a
only know
feeling
one trick, and it's the guy that we're using.
We heard that about you.
What's that expression? One trick pony? All right, go ahead.
See, I tried talking about real estate, and this lady keeps interrupting.
You weren't going to say lady for a
You
second,
still
were you?
What?
Go ahead. Go ahead. What's the?
Well,
go
I was
ahead,
going to
what's
say
the-
woman.
Okay, what's?
I
That's
changed
more
it to
correct.
lady.
That's more
all right,
correct.
woman. Kathy? What would you rather be called, a lady or a woman?
And we're off.
Neither.
Sorry, ma'am.
Do people start calling you sir?
Oh, all
I'm
the
leaving
time.
doors open. And they call,
Yeah.
thank you, sir. I'm there. How old am I? 90?
Yeah.
This is getting bad.
Yeah.
But go ahead. I'm sorry.
You know what? I was on the ship one time working with this girl. and
She's going to
Woman.
kill me when I leave. This woman's
this
going
was
to kill
a girl.
me. All right.
This girl never,
Oh.
never anything but a smile and joyous person. And I just loved her. And she was much younger than me. And then I'm walking into a room that I know she's going to be in. And I'm thinking, I wonder how this young lady sees me.
Yeah.
And I walk into the room and she goes, Papa Joe. And I'm
Okay, you got your answer.
all right. So,
You know how people see me when I'm jogging?
No, I'm trying so
No,
hard.
we'll get to you. Jogging. I can tell it's only peers that relate to me. So the ones who kind of nod at me are like the 50, 60, 70, 80-year-olds.
Yeah.
Anyone below that is...
They think you're running back for your wallet.
Go ahead. Real estate.
All right. So there's a lady coming to my house
Yeah.
to appraise my house.
Yep.
So, of course, my wife is screaming at me to clean the house.
Yep.
And the lady reassured me, I'm not coming to appraise your housekeeping. So I'm like, I ain't touching
Except
anything.
it would help to have it presentable. Do you know what I mean?
No.
Yeah, but that would
You
have
don't have
taken
to-
months.
Never mind.
No, that's a good point because we always talk
Because-
about staging.
No, but
increases
even when
the value of the house.
when an appraiser comes into a house and it's just loaded with like if
Junk,
you're,
they're
if you're
gonna
a
say,
hoarder
yeah,
or
you're
like,
gonna-
you know what I
you're
mean?
gonna
They're
lose about 30 grand.
They can't do
They
it correctly.
can't see past.
I'm not a hoarder. I just don't put away the stuff I collect.
I do think you don't have to clean like mop the floors and scrub toilets, but I definitely think that you need to pick up a
Oh,
little
no, we're
bit.
too
Her
busy.
husband walked around with the appraiser when they
Yeah.
were buying.
Oh, I walked around with her.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right.
She just came to the house.
And he did the subliminal like.
Yeah.
Don't
but
you think
Joey's
this is
doing-
worth $560?
Where's that voice coming from?
Well, my guy, the guy who we're trying to refinance with, told me that just throw a number at them
Yeah.
and put it in their head. So rather than just do that, I came up with a
helps.
whole logic of how I came up with the number.
So did you explain that to her?
Oh yeah, because like we live across the street from the lake,
Yeah.
and my idea, I don't know where I came up with the number, is if you live on the lake, it's worth $100,000 more.
Yeah. Yeah.
So there's a shack that they're selling on the other side of the road that's on the lake, and it's $425.
Yeah.
And there was another shack that's not on the lake that they sold for $160. So my idea is that house
Before
is
you even
only
say
worth
that,
$460,
I'm not
right?
sure how scientific this is going to come out, but but go ahead.
Well, so I figured that's the same size as the house they're selling that's on the lake.
Yeah.
So my idea is add 100,000. So the house on the lake, that's a shack, a tear down, is worth 260,
Okay.
and they're selling it for 4.25.
All right. So yours is definitely worth 465
Absolutely.
all day long.
Yeah, I don't know how I know how.
Maybe you should go with a 565.
Wow, I didn't follow that
You
logic.
understood.
but
Yeah.
I like the outcome.
Well, because
It's Joe.
It's,
No, really. And I think my interest rate should be 3.25.
yes, yeah. So I just wanted to figure out a way to get a number into her head, and that's what I did.
All right.
Because I added $50,000 to what we paid for the house.
And she's going back to
Less than a year
her
ago.
office, and she's going to start looking for comps for you.
Well, then she made a mistake.
Oh.
She goes, I'm just looking at what increases the value to a buyer. And I said, oh, okay, well, here's some stuff they didn't use to sell me the house.
Yeah. So you made improvements.
A tenth of a mile walk down the street are hiking trails that go in every direction.
Okay.
Miles and miles of hiking trails. You go across the street, a half a mile from my front door is the Hampstead, New Hampshire conservation land.
Okay.
And that's, you can go mountain biking and hiking and
What she said. I'm curious. Did
she
that-
was like, yeah, okay.
or was she humoring you, or would that really factor
How would I
in?
know? I just met her.
and he's making shit up.
Well,
Did you send her flowers?
here's another thing.
I'd love to see your appraisal report.
Here's another-
if you did it.
Yeah, well, here's another thing. There was a whole bunch of stuff wrong with the house
Right, that you fixed.
that I had fixed.
Right.
Yeah.
So
But you
that
know what?
upped the price.
Yeah.
Right.
But you
And-
know what, Kathy, correct me. Bank appraisals don't seem to really look into that stuff as much, though, right? They're looking for square footage.
They're looking to make
Yeah, she
sure.
measured. The only thing she measured was the foundation.
Okay. They're just making sure that if you don't make your mortgage payments, that the bank or the lender is going to be
Can
able to
recoup.
Right.
get their money back.
That's it.
That's all.
And the house is worth $510.
Do you have Lake View? Can you see the lake?
Oh yeah, yeah. I counted the steps. It's 17 steps to the beach.
Really?
You're kidding me.
It might
What do
be
you guys do
37.
for pizza
Has a
up there?
7 in it.
17 and 37.
All right, like from here to that door.
Oh, okay.
What's that?
Is the lake?
That's like 18 or 19 steps.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, you're right.
Give or
You're right.
take.
Yeah,
It's
But
less
wait
than-
a second. But between you and there's another house?
No,
Oh,
no.
So that's pretty good.
that's
like if
great.
you look directly across the street, there's a house, and
Right.
then there's a beach next to the house.
Nice.
Yeah, and then if you go that way, like a block, there's a bigger beach,
Right.
and yeah.
So our Ed Sullivan's trying to figure out how to write this. So I think it's Joe Yannetty's appraisal process.
Well, we got Joe details the psychology of dealing with the appraiser.
Yeah.
Oh,
Okay.
that's good.
Yeah.
So in 30 minutes, that's what we've gotten. Okay.
Oh, no, we got a lot.
Oh, we got a lot.
What
None
about
of it had anything to do with
what about the psychology of selling? We gonna talk? You don't want to talk about
No,
that?
that's why.
Yeah, you get
If
2
you can
minutes.
do it in 2 minutes,
2 minutes.
2 seconds.
No, you should tell me some things with the car tricks. No, and I shouldn't call
It's
them
not
tricks.
just car tricks. It's
It's selling.
all right.
It's
Like
selling.
Oh, so there's
Here's-
card tricks.
here's a
Car
bad
tricks?
a bad salesman would meet a customer, like qualifying the customer.
Yeah.
You know, like I would just make it conversational. I would make it sound like none of this is important, and just ask me, "Hey, how you doing, man? Are you from around here?"
Yeah.
And they go, "Yeah, well, what town?" Now, if someone says to you, "I live in Somerville," or
Yeah.
they say, "I live in Marblehead," there's a big difference on which car you're going to show them.
Right.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
and
Not anymore, by the way.
not anymore.
But
Yeah. but you know, but,
Right.
No,
all
some
right.
Somerville people
Some
are
of-
going to get the more expensive car.
Yes.
All right, slash out Somerville.
I
and
understand what you're
Chelsea.
saying. though. Right.
Chelsea.
All right.
Not anymore.
Not
on
anymore.
that.
I'll give
No,
it.
no,
None.
nothing is going
All
to
right,
increase
how about
the
East
real
Boston?
estate
No?
value of Chelsea. Nothing.
All right, Lawrence.
There you
All
go.
right, okay, there you go. There you go.
All right.
Good
so,
one, Ed.
So you ask, where you from, and then how long have you been living there? Basically, go down a credit application. How long have you been living where you live? Oh, that's nice. What
So
do you,
you're doing it
What do you do for
subliminally.
work?
yeah. What do you do for a living?
How much money
Yeah.
do you make?
No, I don't ask them that. I guess
That's
it's
a
that.
credit application.
You ask them, what do you do for work, and how long have you been doing that?
Yeah,
Do you
yeah.
like it? Do you love it? Is there something
Do you
else
have gambling debts?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, yeah. So just a conversation that you would know. basically what to show people.
Now, when you drop them in the car, I know this has nothing to do with real estate. This had a big segue to real estate that we'll probably not get into. But when you brought them in the car, you had them fix the mirrors. You had them.
If I was gonna, if there were cars I knew I was gonna test drive people, I would get in the car. I would put the seat all the way back. I would mess up the mirrors so you couldn't see anything out of them. I'd put the steering wheel in the least comfortable position, and then I wouldn't say a word. Most salesmen, they just won't shut up. Yeah. It's like, shut up and let them imagine owning this car.
Yeah.
So they'd get in the car, they'd adjust the seat, they'd adjust the mirrors, and all of that psychologically gives them a sense of ownership.
Like they personalize it.
It's like they already own the car. And then when you do a test drive, you only make right turns because it's a lot easier to make a right turn than to make a left turn. You don't have to wait for anybody.
Yeah.
But then I would
So they're not aggravated while they're taking those right turns. Yeah.
Right. Right. It just make it as comfortable as possible.
Yeah.
And don't say a word unless they ask you a question. Answer them very quickly and just let them drive and love the car.
Yeah.
And then another thing I would do was I would do stuff with them that any car would do. Like I was selling brand new Jeep Grand Cherokees and they had 4-wheel disc brakes. So I would get them and tell them I had this long straightaway. I had the greatest test drive.
Get it up to 100.
Well, seriously. I never understood why car salesmen had to get back to the dealership. It's like, I hate the dealership.
Right.
Like I was telling my wife, I sold Jeeps, Wranglers.
Yeah.
And when I had downtime, I would just go put the roof up and take it down and put the roof up and take it down because it's really hard to do. So I would just practice. So when I did it, it looked so simple. And they would think, wow, that took 3 minutes, and not knowing it took me 4 months to be able to do that.
That's a good one.
Stretch the canvas out and get. So then if they were a young kid, I would drive to Hermosa Beach, which is one of the most beautiful beaches in California, and blast the music with this young kid. His dad's buying the car. 2 chicks on roller skates and bikinis turn around to see who you are. They really turn around because, like, why is that so loud? But he thinks they're looking at him. That sold. So it's stuff
That's
like
beautiful.
that. And then
were the 2 girls on the roller skates on your payroll? Or
no.
They
I wish. Been. But anyway, I would get a long straightaway and I would tell the guy, a great line, Jeep was the first to put an airbag in an SUV, and they were the last to put on the passenger side. And people go, why is there only an airbag on the front, by the wheel? And I go, because they figure who's ever paying for the car is driving. But a long straightaway, I would tell them, get the car up to 60 miles an hour at least, and then let go of the steering wheel and slam on the brakes. And the car would go, woof. Now, any brand new car would do that. But no car salesman would let them do that.
Right.
So they thought my car was the only car that would do that. Because no one, they're going to go, I want that. And the wife would be screaming, don't you do that? I go, well, when do you want to find out it does that? When you have your kids in the car or on a test drive?
Pretty good.
Well, what if something breaks? I go, then you don't want to buy the car.
That's good.
So, and I would make it a thrill. Like the sound system was this amazing sound system, and the CD demo had the theme song to Top Gun on it.
Oh, nice.
And people wanted to know, there was Palos Verdes had this, right next to the dealership, a huge hill to get up to where they lived. And they were like, I want a car that has the power to get up that hill. I'd say, okay, make it so we're the first ones at this light. So that make them slow down. So when the light turned red, we'd be first in line. And I had already queued up the CD.
Oh, nice.
And I go, look, when the light turns green, just punch it. And the car had a big 8-cylinder in it. And they're like, no. I go, dude, just punch it. And they go, you sure? I go, don't you want to know the power the car has? We're fine. Just let it go. And the light would turn green, and they'd put their foot down, and I would hit play, and it'd go, bow, 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 bow. And the look on people's, sold.
Wow.
Coming in hot, man.
They made a sequel.
Yeah, they're making a sequel.
It's done.
Is it done?
All same people? Maverick?
They're in it.
No, the woman isn't in it.
Kelly.
They didn't ask her to be in it.
Mick.
I didn't read
Really?
the
Is that the
article.
one who married
Um,
Travolta or
What the heck
Kelly?
is her name? Melly?
Kelly LeBron? Kelly?
No.
No, not the one
No.
that married.
Kelly
Travolta.
something.
No.
I bet he knows.
McGillis.
He didn't look it up yet.
Yeah, I
McGinnis?
think that's
McGillis.
No, McGillis.
Kelly McGillis.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They didn't ask her to be in it?
Yeah, no, I don't think so. Because
Yeah.
I heard her on the radio a couple days
Was
ago.
she mad?
No, she's saying because I'm old
Oh,
and
yeah.
I'm fat.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
That's why she's not in it.
I'm
I
glad
think.
I'm not in that business. If that's
So
the
I go,
criteria.
I'm old and fat too. Maybe it's time for me to retire.
No, but you're the best paralegal around,
All
right?
right,
Yes, she is.
Let's
Isn't she?
wrap this up.
Paralegal
No.
Extraordinaire.
extraordinaire. We're done, Joey.
Yeah, it's 35
We're done,
minutes.
Joey.
So my wife is right. We should refinance.
For the next
Yes.
show, yes.
She just wants to refinance to lower the payment.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm like, we could get money out of this.
No, you don't want to do that.
Oh, my
you want to
God.
hold on to your equity. in
Joey,
your
next
house.
time you come on the show, you're gonna have to ask the question why. Why do
Joe,
you buy
know,
a house?
Do you know
Why?
how you get the money out? Is if you're saving $100 a month, you put that away and save for
Yeah,
something
but
big.
I want to know, is buying a house to live in a good investment?
Yes, it
How
is.
come,
Yes.
how come our best real estate information is during the trailer music at
Teaser.
the very end?
Tease.
All right.
Tease them.
It's
All right.
not
Yeah.
fair. Tony says it because he owns a 3-family.
I do. My house is worth way more than I care to think about.
Yeah.
But you
Right.
only live in 1/3 of it.
It's only
Right.
worth it when you want to sell it.
Yeah.
It's only worth
Why, you
that
think it's gonna
value.
plummet?
That's my house
What?
now.
You think it's going to plummet?
No, I'm just
Nah.
saying that if he doesn't want to move,
Would you
he's
pay
not.
$600,000 for his house now?
Are you kidding
right
me?
now?
I live on a hill. Bring on global warming.
I never understood how people are totally content with their house. They can make their payments, and then some idiot comes on the news and goes, "Your house is worth $100,000 less," and they snap.
Yeah.
It's like,
That's-
okay, so if you didn't watch that, your house would be worth the same
Sure.
thing.
All right. So
All
in the
right.
trailer
It's
music,
only worth.
You weren't
it's
gonna
only-
sell it
it's-
anyway.
It's only worth what
we
someone's
got more
willing
information
to
in
pay
the
for.
with the
All right.
music.
Bye bye.
All
Bye
right,
bye,
thanks for joining
everyone.
us here
Bye
at
bye.
Real Estate House Party.
We
And
didn't talk
Kathy-
about movies.
Kathy Holtshouser is going to kill me on the way out of here because we didn't get too much
No,
out
I'm
of this.
not. I
Who's
don't
that?
care.
The views and opinions expressed by the hosts, guests, or callers of this program do not necessarily reflect the opinions of the Studio 21 Podcast Cafe, the United Podcast Network, its partners, or affiliates.